Well, it's a very warm welcome and thank you for joining me on this independent off-tube studio commentary. The game at Craven Cottage has just got underway as Fulham take on Swansea City. Fulham start the day in 5th place. Swansea City are in 18th, but the form of these two sides really has been pretty poor going into this game. Both Fulham and Swansea just have one win each in their last 5 games. Swansea winning their last game at home to Huddersfield Town by a goal to nil. Fulham winning away at Birmingham City. That was back on the 15th of September. They won that game by 4 goals to 1. They've had 3 defeats, including a defeat to Leeds United on penalties in the Carabao Cup since then. So we'll have to wait and see how this game develops. But certainly a little bit of pressure on Marco Silva's side, who started the season very consistently. Just tailed off in the last 3 or 4 games. Be hoping that this game against Swansea, who are still fairly low down the table, Russell Martin's side in 18th place. Still looking to try and pick up some new form under their new manager. But here come Fulham now. Long ball over the top, cleared back over towards the way. We under a bit of pressure here, having to just play that ball square towards Seri. Back now towards Adebayo. So just to remind you of the 2-11s very quickly. Paulo Gazzaniga is in goal for Fulham with a back 4 of Dennis Adoy, Tosin Adebayo, Tim Ream and Joe Bryan. The 2 holder midfielders are Jean-Michel Seri and Harrison Reed. 3 ahead of them are Harry Wilson, Aniskins Cabano and Bobby de Cordova-Reid, with Alexander Mitrovic as the front man for Swansea City. Ben Hamer is in goal with a back 3 of Benjamin Cabango, Kyle Norton and Ryan Manning. The 4 across the middle are Ethan Laird, Flynn Downs, Matt Grimes and Jake Bidwell, with Jamie Paterson, Oliver Nacham and Joel Pirot as the 3 up front. It is Fulham in possession down the right-hand side. A long ball over the top from... it's a great ball as well from Adoy to find Mitrovic. He tries to lift that one over the goalkeeper. He's offside anyway. The flag just goes up. Mitrovic had just straight offside there. He lifted that ball over the bar in any case. But it was a really good ball from Adoy. It just looked like he was slowly strolling out from his own half. Then suddenly spotted a long diagonal ball. Mitrovic, the Fulham number 9, trying to get on the end of that one. He did. Got the ball over the goalkeeper, but also over the bar. And then the offside flag went up in any case. And it is a short free kick now. Norton going back towards Hamer. Clearance now from Hamer down the right-hand side, looking for the run of Pirot. That's well dealt with by Ream, though. And Seri now going back towards Adebayo. Quick ball played by Harrison Reed. He's playing his 150th league game this evening. Out towards the right-hand side now. Harry Wilson being blunked off here by Manning. Gets a ball into the box looking for Harrison Reed. The ball is flicked out and back into midfield. Here is Adoy now down the right-hand side, going back towards Wilson. And Wilson now back towards the halfway line here for Adebayo, as Fulham look to try and control the ball early on in this match. Back over with Adoy on the right-hand side now. The pressure there from Bidwell and from Paterson, but he's still able to keep his run going here. Adoy almost gets that ball through to Grimes, but it's now quickly cleared away by Paterson. Looking for a run of the Nacham down the right-hand side, but the ball is back in Fulham possession, threaded through towards the edge of the area. And there's a bit of contact there. Referee Joshua Smith had a quick look. Harry Wilson thinks it's obvious there should be a penalty. Ryan Manning was very quick to defend himself that there's definitely no contact. We'll just have a look at the replay now and wait to see. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure, first of all, whether Wilson's getting to that and whether or not Manning has done anything wrong there. He's running towards the ball. Is Wilson colliding with him, or is Manning trying to take him down? The referee decided there was no foul, and it's a good chance here now for Swansea down the other end of the field. It's a great run from Laird. He broke into the penalty area, couldn't quite find a teammate though, and the ball is quickly cleared by Joe Bryan back towards the halfway line, headed on though by Downs. And Swansea City in their change sorts of pink kit, really. It looks like it's a pink kit under these floodlights. And they're now just slowing things down on the halfway line here with Grimes going back towards Manning. Manning square towards the left-hand side. Here is Jake Bidwell, who has plenty of previous with West London, of course, having been a Brentford and a QPR player. And of course, playing for Swansea City. As Russell Martin is now trying to get a bit of a tune out of his team. There have been some new signings in the summer. They tried to rebuild after 2 years of getting very close to promotion, losing to Brentford in the semis 2 seasons ago and in the final last season. It's not been the start that the Swans fans would have expected this season, but of course it does always take a little bit of time to bed down under a new manager. Fulham, of course, would have been delighted with the start they got under their manager, but just the last 3 or 4 games Things have just started to derail a little bit now for the Cottagers. And in possession now are Swansea City. 5 minutes gone, independent off-tube studio commentary. Just a 1 goal so far in the Championship this evening. Luton Town have an early lead against the Coventry City. Adebayo with the goal. But here come Swansea now down the right-hand side. A ball swept in by Laird, headed back towards the edge of the penalty area. It's now Fulham in possession down the left with Joe Bryan. Plays the ball to Mitrovic. He's had to track a long way back into his own half to try and keep possession. He is fouled in the end by Flynn Downs. That's what referee Joshua Smith has decided, and it is going to be a free kick to Fulham. Chance for the home side to try and get this ball forward. Getting another replay of this challenge, this collision here between Manning and Wilson. Well, I have to say, the last 2 replays have perhaps swayed me a little bit, thinking that perhaps there could have been an argument for a penalty. Of course, no VAR in the Championship. I do wonder if, had that been in the Premier League, if play would have been stopped just to check. It does look as though there is a bit of contact with Manning. The question is, of course, whether it's Wilson colliding with Manning and then falling over, or whether it's Manning tripping the Fulham player. I still think as though it's probably not quite enough in there for a penalty, but we may see another replay as the game progresses. It's now Kyle Norton in possession for Swansea, going back to Ben Hamer. What about rolling it out towards Cabango, but he's been closed down by Mitrovic. Long clearance now from the Swansea keeper, headed out by Joe Bryan, and it is going to be a throw to Swansea down their right-hand side. Hamer looking a little bit frustrated there. I think he was hoping that perhaps his teammates would have just dropped a little bit quicker, although he's had some good form. He's had 3 clean sheets in his last 4 Championship matches. A bit more time this time, Ben Hamer, but he really closing him down as the ball was rolled back to him. And now Norton's able to step forward here for Swansea City. Finds Grimes down the left here. Chance here for Manning to get forward. He's part of a back 3, but he pretty much plays as a left back here. Manning pushing all the way into the Fulham half. He tried to fire an early ball out towards Joel Pirot, and that one gets back through towards Paolo Gazzaniga, the Fulham goalkeeper. And now it's Adebayo going back towards Gazzaniga, being closed down by Pirot. Over towards Tim Ream, USA international. Then finding Harrison Reed. Bryan down the left-hand side finds Cabano. But again, you've got to credit Swansea here. They've got 7 players pushing inside the Fulham half here, trying to make it as difficult as possible for the home sides to play out. But now Adebayo is trying to reverse that by playing a long ball over the top for Wilson, and it's a good ball as well. Wilson trying to take on Manning right at the line. Manning claiming it shouldn't even be a corner. I think it is going to be given as a Fulham corner, but this is good play from Adebayo. No chance of Wilson being offside. He was still in his own half when that ball was played over the top. But after Swansea sent so many men forward, Fulham was starting to get a little bit boxed in inside their own half, so it was a good idea from Adebayo to send that ball forward, looking for Wilson. Good covering from Manning as well. Just seeing the replay, I don't think there's any argument to say it shouldn't be a corner. And it's going to be whipped in from this right-hand side. Seri with the ball in, header away towards the edge of the area, and the champ can bring this away for Swansea City now. He's completely isolated though. Needs a bit of support, just holds it up on the halfway line now. Ethan Laird had got forward, but he prefers to leave this ball now for Grimes. Grimes towards Paterson. Back to Nacham, and certainly the counter-attack for Swansea has completely died down, but they're still in possession now with the ball over the top from Nacham, and it's a good cushioned header there from Adoy to get the ball back towards goalkeeper Gazzaniga. There would have been a free kick anyway had the ball not ended up with the goalkeeper. There was a bit of a push there on... on the Doy after that challenge there with Bidwell. Ball now back with Jean-Michel Seri. Forward to Harrison Reed, and he spots a bit of space here down the left-hand side for Cabano. Cabano taking on Cabango, getting away from Cabango, breaking into the box. He pulls it back. Dickled over Reed. Would have been the intended target, but he was about 2 or 3 yards just in front of that pass. It was really good work from Cabano. To get away from Cabango. Hopefully, for the commentators' point of view, those two won't be chasing each other too many times this evening. But the ball now back with Wilson down the right-hand side here as Fulham just looking to try and exert a bit more possession, a bit more dominance, but inside the Swansea half. Most of Fulham's possession so far has been in their own half. That's a loose ball, though, from Joe Bryan. Easily picked off by Ethan Laird. Matt Grimes now under pressure there from Deckled over Reed, going back towards Downs. And now it's with Manning over towards Bidwell on the left-hand side. We can see Marco Silva desperately trying to get some information across to one of his players. He was all sorts of hand gestures there from Fulham's Portuguese manager. So Martin just looking a little bit more reserved so far on the touchline as a long ball now goes forward down the left-hand side. Jake Bidwell was the intended target, but the ball gets through towards Gazaniga. And now Tim Ream stepping forward, looking to try and find a route out from his own penalty area, because once again the Swansea players are in their numbers inside the Fulham half. It's not easy at all here for the home side to play out from the back. Odoi going back towards Adebayo. Closed down by Joel Pirot. Gazaniga having to hurry his pass here now as Ream was being closed down as well. Ball just about gets through towards Harrison Reed. And in the end, Fulham did well to get out of their own half. And now they've got a chance to go down the left-hand side as Reed spots Cabano in a lot of space down the left. Cabano's cross is charged down by Flynn Downs, and it's out for a throw-on down the left-hand side. But that was good play. It looked as though Fulham were once again getting boxed in inside their own half. Got to credit the home side. That's two occasions now where they didn't seem to have an outlet from their own half. On one occasion, the long ball from Adebayo caused problems, and this time it was a really good run down the left from Cabano, but the cross unfortunately was easily charged down as the ball is fired straight back in to the penalty area. Mitrovic looking to get that ball into the back of the net, so the Swansea players all looking towards the linesman. It was cleared initially, the ball was then played back in towards the Swansea penalty area, and all the Swansea players assumed that there was going to be an offside. Mitrovic himself looked up even before he took the shot, thinking there might be a flag. The flag doesn't go up, and on 12 minutes it is Fulham that take the lead, much to the frustration of Swansea City. We're starting well in this game, but it's Cabano down the left. His cross got a deflection of Laird. It's a header from Reed, and then this ball is pumped back in. Ooh, I tell you what, there could be a foot in it. Even in this day and age of a VAR being a little bit lighter, I still think that goal possibly would have been disallowed in the Premier League. Nothing given by the linesman. It was very close. I'm not saying that it's glaring offside, but even with just that one replay and no line drawn across the screen, you can see that that's left foot of Mitrovic is just offside. But once he gets the ball, he does well to turn that ball back onto his right foot, get it away from Kyle Norton, and he tucks it into the back of the net. As I say, if the flag doesn't go up, then it's not going to be offside. So Fulham take the lead. It's the second goal we've seen in the Championship this evening after that early strike from Adebayo from the penalty spot, giving Luton Town the lead against Coventry City. And Alexander Mitrovic has 50 Championship goals now. Be delighted with that finish as well, because it was a tough start here for Fulham. Swansea was seeing plenty of the ball and they were pressing as well. The problem for Russell Martin's side is that a lot of their possession was in their own half. They didn't really get much of the ball towards Pirot, Paterson or Nacham in an attacking position. That's the last counter-attack we saw from Swansea. Nacham was still inside his own half. When he stopped with the ball, they just didn't have the outlets, and Fulham finding that one chance and taking it early on in this game now to give themselves the lead. Real pressure now on Swansea, who finally got a win after a run of poor results and draws last weekend against Huddersfield. Bidwell now looking for some space down the left-hand side. Grimes has gone on the overlap, being closed down here by Wilson and Odoi, and the ball eventually deflects out for a throw to Swansea City. Vital now for the visitors to try and get straight back on the attack here, not to give Fulham too much time on the ball. They started well here, Swansea, in terms of the press that they were doing, just couldn't really develop enough of their own attacking possession, but now they're trying down the left. It's a good little turn there from Paterson. He lifts the ball into the box, but lifted it just a little bit too high. No chance of anyone in a Swansea shirt getting on the end of that one. Just a bit too much height there. But we're going to see another replay here of this Mitrovic goal. It is close, but I would say that nearly half of Mitrovic's body actually now is in an offside position when that ball is headed to him. He still does really well to control it, turn and then fire it into the back of the net. But Swansea City certainly were right to ask the question about the offside. And frustratingly for the visitors, the offside flag never came, so they've got to try and get back into this game now, as Fulham pressing here inside the Swansea half. It's Kyle Norton, long-serving Swansea player, bringing the ball forward under pressure from Grimes, having to go back towards goalkeeper Hamer. And Hamer looked up, he thought about playing it early, but it's a tall back line for Fulham, particularly those two centre-backs, Adebayo and Ream. They're not going to lose many aerial challenges. It's probably always a last resort really for Swansea to try and play long balls down the middle, as Flynn Downs now moves forward, leaves the ball here on the left-hand side. Square ball now from Paterson over towards the Ethan Laird, under pressure here from Joe Bryan. The ball deflects off Bryan, and it's going to be a Swansea City corner. So a chance now from the set piece. It's not really been happening for Swansea from open play so far, but this is their first corner. So a good chance now for them to try and get players into the box and get this. So look to try and get this equaliser as quickly as possible. Ball now on the right-hand side. It's a short corner. Taken now to Pirot. He then goes back towards Norton. Now it's with Manning, but now Manning's about 40 yards away from goal. Now it's on the left-hand side here with Alvin Cham. Cham looking for options. Hasn't got too many in the end. He just rolls the ball to Ethan Laird, who ends up on the left-hand side of the penalty area this time. He tries to skip past Harry Wilson. And referee says that it is going to be a throw to Swansea, despite Harrison Reid asking the question whether it should be Fulham's throw. Once again sending players forward here as Bidwell waits with the throw. He's got a couple of options here. May try to send it long into the penalty area. In the end, he just opts for the short ball. So Grimes then tries to get that one through towards Paterson. Paterson then collides with Doy, and the referee Joshua Smith deciding that was a foul. It's going to be a free kick to Fulham, just at the edge of their own penalty area. Can see Russell Martin there just trying to get some instructions out to his players. He is the youngest manager or head coach in the top 4 divisions across the English league this season, which brings with it its own pressure, of course. And as I say, Swansea City are a club who've tasted real success in the last 10 years when you look at what they did in the Premier League, winning the League Cup, having runs in Europe, having their own sort of bespoke passing style of play. And the Swansea fans, Swansea faith will be very keen for that to return to the Liberty Stadium as soon as possible. They've been very close, as I mentioned, with playoff campaigns in their first 2 seasons back in the Championship. Couldn't quite get it over the line. It's been a bit of a slow start for them this season. And now Fulham looking to try and pile on more pain here, as it's Cabano down the left-hand side. His cross is cleared to the edge of the area. Referee stops play, though. Jean-Michel Seri was waiting to strike that one. But there's a bit of a collision there with, well, Manning's just been trodden on by his own goalkeeper, it looks like. And we'll just have to wait and see whether he's going to be okay. I mean, this Manning was fouled initially, and the referee stopped play for that. And then as Manning was rolling around, it really did look to me as though Hamer had just trodden on his own defender. It's just compounded Manning's problems even more. But it looks like he's going to be okay to play on. Mitrovic just asking the question as well as to why that was given as a foul. And, well, the reason it was is because Mitrovic was shoving Manning out of the way. There's always going to be a little bit of physical contact in the box, but that was just a little bit too much from the Fulham number 9. The ball now back with Ben Hamer. 19 minutes gone, independent off Tube Studio commentary. Fulham leading Swansea by a goal to nil. We have a second goal at Kenilworth Road as Luton Town now lead Coventry City by 2-0. Cornick adding to the penalty scored by Adebayo earlier in this first half. So Luton now 2 up against Coventry. No other goals to tell you about in the Championship so far. But here come Fulham now with a great ball from Wilson to find Mitro. Oh, that's bad from Mitrovic. It's one of those things that you don't see too often on a professional field. You see it more often in the park, dare I say, where a player trying to control the ball, to strike it with his right foot, and as he's approaching to hit it with his right, toe ends it with his left. And to say, Mitrovic, bit of a wry smile on his face, because that's not something that you would expect him to normally do. But it is out for a Swansea goal kick. He sort of pats himself on the head as if to say, yep, that was entirely my fault, nobody else to blame but me on that occasion. The 8 o'clock Champions League games are underway as well, with Bayern playing against Dynamo Kiev. Benfica already leading early on against Barcelona. Juve against Chelsea. Man United against Villarreal. Salzburg against Lille. And Wolfsburg against Sevilla. Those are the 8 o'clock kickoffs. In the 5:45 kickoffs in the Champions League earlier this evening, Atalanta beat Young Boys by 1-0, and Zenit beat 10-man Malmo by 4-0, as Fulham now pressing down the right-hand side, but the ball is given away. Manning easily picks that one up for Swansea City, going back towards Hamer, and stepping forward now is Kyle Norton. He thought about playing it long to Paterson, forced to go square to Manning. Paterson now drops back into his own half and plays a quick 1-2 with Grimes, and Swansea do get out of their own half now. Ball over towards Ethan Laird on the right-hand side. Closed down straight away, though, by Joe Bryant. So there really is no time here for Swansea once they get into the Fulham half. It's back now with Norton. And in the end, it's Cabango playing it back towards Hamer. Again, his first thought is always to roll it short, but there are 5 Fulham players relatively close to that Swansea penalty area, so he tries a long ball this time, which is headed on by Laird, but the ball drops here to Tim Ream for Fulham. Plays it short to Brian. Back with Ream now at the edge of his own penalty area. Goes back towards the goalkeeper. Long clearance now from Gazaniga down the right-hand side, headed down by Odoi. Now a long crossfield ball here from Decordova-Reid, taken down by Neeskins Cabano, being blocked by Cabango. Goes back towards the edge of the area here for Joe Bryan. Gets it onto that trusty left foot and floats a ball in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Header from Mitrovic is straight into the arms of Ben Hamer. Comfortable save for Hamer in the end, but that was a good Fulham move. And patient play here from Joe Bryan at the edge of the area. He wanted that ball on his much more reliable left foot. Probably would have liked to have perhaps whipped that ball in with a bit more pace, just to give Mitrovic something to attack. In the end, it was Mitrovic that had to generate most of the power, and that made it just that little bit easier for Hamer to make the save. But the visitors now, once again, in possession until they reach the halfway line. Then Fulham are able to win the ball back, and it's Dennis Odoi now playing it back towards Paulo Gazaniga. Looking at the benches for the two sides. Fulham's bench this evening is Hector, Onoma, Ivan Caballero, Domingos Quina, Rodrigo Muniz, and Alfie Mawson, with Rodak the goalkeeper as well. As far as Swansea are concerned, they have Walsh, Cullen, Fulton, Letoubier, Smith, Bender and Cooper on their bench this evening. And Fulham now on the attack down the left here as Neeskins Cabano gets to the edge of the area. The referee was going to allow play to go on, but he spotted a foul earlier, and it's going to be a booking now for Cabango. Not sure he can have too many arguments about that, because this is clear that Cabano gets away from him, and Cabango just trying to pull back on the shirt. He's angry at himself there because he gains nothing from that foul whatsoever. If you're going to take one for the team, then stop a counter-attack on the halfway line, but pulling the opponent's shirt for a split second and giving a free kick away in a dangerous position, and also getting a yellow card, doesn't really help his side out very much at all. Although I suppose damage limitation as far as Ben Cabango was concerned, he would have felt as if he didn't do something to try and stop Neeskins Cabano, then there was always a chance he could have ran all the way towards goal. But this is a free kick for Fulham now in a decent position. It's probably just a few yards too far away to be thinking about a shot. It's quite a wide angle as well on the left-hand side. And it is Seri and Wilson standing over this one. It's Wilson's ball in. Strong diving header away by Jake Bidwell. Back to Jean-Michel Seri. Here is Harry Wilson again. Plays it to Decordova-Reid. Threads it back to Wilson. That's well read though by Cabango. Needed to be as well, because there was danger lurking as that ball was played into the box. Will be a free kick to Swansea City now after Ethan Laird was tripped by Decordova-Reid. But hasn't seen too much of the ball. For the attacking play that we've seen from Fulham, we've seen a lot of Wilson. We've seen a lot of Mitrovic. We've certainly seen a lot of Neeskins Cabano. Not seen too much of the Jamaica international though. Decordova-Reid as Swansea now give the ball away on the halfway line. It was Flynn Grimes, and now all of a sudden it's a great chance here to get the ball over towards Cabano on the left-hand side. Breaks in and puts it onto his right foot. His strike is straight down the middle though, and that one is into the arms of the goalkeeper Ben Hamer. But that was really poor there from Flynn Downs. He can't afford to give the ball away that easily, with 4 Fulham players streaming into that Swansea penalty area. But in the end, the strike from Cabano wasn't too threatening. Goalkeeper Hamer was able to cope with that, no problem at all. And his side now once again trying to play out from the back. This has become a bit of a pattern for this game now. A lot of Fulham possession followed by a shotter across. It then ends up with the Swansea keeper, and Swansea then struggle to get out of their own half. Fulham win the ball back and then come again. But this time Swansea have got out of their own half. Good work there from Ethan Laird down the right-hand side. Ball now with Paterson going back over towards the left-hand side now for Manning. And Manning has Nacham and Bidwell ahead of him. It looks like the two forwards for Swansea have swapped sides here, with Paterson now playing on the right and Nacham on the left. Joel Pirot still playing through the middle, although you wouldn't really be able to tell that because so far the Dutchman up front hasn't had any service at all, really. Nothing really to work with so far. Certainly they've got to try and do something to get that ball to him. In fact, just looking at a sort of live formation as the two teams have set up based on what the possession they've had so far in these first 26 minutes, the player getting furthest forward for Swansea right now is Jake Bidwell, believe it or not, as he's trying to get some space down that left-hand side. But Joel Pirot is sat a long way back, and that is going to have to improve here for Swansea if they're going to get back into this game. But Ryan Manning now trying a long diagonal ball over towards the right-hand side, taken down by Ethan Laird. He plays it into Paterson. Paterson then tries to thread a ball into the penalty area, which is played away by Adebayo to inside to Seri, and now Cabano playing a quick 1-2 with Decordova-Reid, and then Cabano with the ball out towards the right-hand side. Space here for Mitrovic. Early boy into Decordova-Reid. Oh, that should be 2-0. Fulham should be 2-0 up, and Decordova-Reid lifts that one over the bar. He was aiming for that top corner when maybe he should have just shown a little bit more composure and tried to perhaps play that one low. He had a lot more time there, I think, than he realised. What a great drop of the shoulder this is from Cabano to find some space. He plays a 1-2 with Decordova-Reid. Mitrovic in the role of provider this time. And that's a glorious chance. Decordova-Reid shouldn't be missing that. There is a little bit of a skip to the ball. It's not perfectly coming onto his boot, but as I say, it's a ball played to him at pace. He's always got to expect there's going to be a little bit of a bounce to it. He should have done a little bit better with that. Should have done a lot better with that one, really. Decordova-Reid should be talking about 27 minutes gone and Fulham being 2-0 up now, but it is still only 1-0. That's early strike from Mitrovic from potentially an offside position, giving Fulham the early lead in this game. Looking across at the other championship games, we have another goal to tell you about, and it's Barnsley through Corley Woodrow from the penalty spot, leading against Nottingham Forest. Still 0-0 between Derby and Reading. It's still 2-0 to Luton against Coventry City. Millwall and Bristol City are 0-0, as indeed is Peterborough against Bournemouth. As the ball now back with Kyle Norton. And Flynn Downs back at the edge of his own penalty area. That graphic we saw there showing that Swansea City have pretty much got all their 11 inside their own half when they're on the ball is pretty much being borne out now. We can't see any way for Swansea to get forward at this stage. 6 or 7 passes exchanged. They go straight back towards goalkeeper Ben Hamer. And Hamer thought about clearing it long, but again, he's got two players. I mean, Adebayo's about 6'4", Tim Ream's about 6'2", both very experienced, very good in the air. So just sending a long ball down the middle, there's always going to be a chance that they're going to win it. And in the end, Hamer, frustrated, is forced to send the long ball forward, aimed at Bidwell. Bidwell does head it on into the penalty area, but the ball trickles through towards Paolo Gazzaniga, and Fulham are now back in possession. It's with Tim Ream. And Ream now looking up for options. He wanted to play it long as well. Decided to flick the ball forward now for Iskins Cabano. Cabano couldn't quite find Mitrovic though, and now it's with Matt Grimes. Not seen enough of Matt Grimes, really, the Swansea City captain, as well as being a voice in midfield. He's excellent on the ball. He just needs to get a bit more control of the game here for his side. Trusty left-footed central midfielder. Ball now back with Manning. Square towards Downs. Manning again. Thought about the long ball, but Fulham are playing a very high offside line as well. But when Swansea were in possession on the halfway line, Fulham were at least 40 yards away from goal with their offside line. And in the meantime, Nacham has just put the ball out of play himself. He's felt some sort of pain, and the referee is asking Nacham to go off the field. I'm not really I mean, why Nacham has decided to roll on and stay on the field, I don't understand. I mean, it's Swansea's time he's wasting. It just seemed like he tried the most simplest of runs. He just made 2 strides forward when he was just about getting into a sprint, and then he stopped. So he's obviously either felt a hamstring or something. But it is bizarre that he decided to... He could have easily gone off the field and got treatment, but he decided to sort of stop himself and make sure he was on the field. A tactic normally used by the side that are leading in a game rather than the side that are losing. The jam still being checked over here. And if this is a hamstring, there's nothing they're going to be able to do on the sidelines now. Just a question of whether he is going to be able to carry on or not. Physio now helping him up, and certainly looked as though there was a change being readied. And see that Corey Smith is getting ready to come on, and I think this is now confirmed. Yeah, Corey Smith will be coming on for Olivier Nacham. It's disappointing for him. Won 8 major trophies with Celtic, including 3 league titles of Olivier Nacham. But and he had a couple of good moments in this game, but overall it's very hard to judge just how well Swansea are playing in attack, because they're not really getting enough ball into the attack. That's been the problem. As I say, couldn't really give Joel Pirot a rating right now, because he's as the striker playing through the middle, he's had literally no service at all so far. The Cham's off the field now. So hope it's nothing too serious for him, as Mitrovic gives the ball back to Swansea City. And we are able to play on now with Cabango. That's a poor ball from him. He was looking for Ethan Laird down the right-hand side, and all of a sudden a counter-attack here for Fulham as the ball is brought out by Joe Bryan. Gets through to Mitrovic, who tucks it into the back of the net. And on 32 minutes, Fulham have a 2-goal lead. And Swansea City, well, they'll be so frustrated with this, the visitors, because they were barely getting into possession inside the Fulham half. It's a loose ball given away and quickly played down the Fulham left. And before you know it, it gets to Mitrovic, and it's a measured finish for Mitrovic this time. Not too much power, but very precise. Cabango with the ball. It's a really poor ball from Cabango. It never reaches Ethan Laird. And from that point on, Fulham are on the counter. Joe Bryan brings the ball out and finds Cabano. Cabano finds Mitrovic, and it's a really clever finish from Mitrovic. He uses the pace of that cross to just redirect that ball right into the bottom corner. It may well be that it actually gets a slight flick off the defender as well. Perhaps I'm giving Mitrovic a little bit too much credit. No, I'll take it back. That is all Mitrovic there. A bit of a nutmeg on Kyle Norton as well. And Mitrovic delighted. There might have been a question mark over offside about the first goal. Absolutely no doubts about the second goal. Fulham now lead by 2-0. And Alexander Mitrovic has his second goal of the evening, and he joins Ben Brereton Diaz as the joint top scorer in the Championship. Brereton Diaz with 9 goals for Blackburn this season, and Mitrovic now joining him on 9 goals for Fulham as well. We have a third goal at Kenilworth Road, and it looks like Luton Town getting the job done in the first half. Berry has just made it 3-0, following up on Adebayo's and Cornick's goals earlier to give Luton a 3-0 lead. Still no goals in the game between Millwall, Bristol City and Peterborough, Bournemouth. But meanwhile, Derby have taken the lead against Reading, and it's Craig Forsyth that has given Derby the lead there on 33 minutes, as Swansea desperate now to try and hold on to the ball in midfield. They may get a chance now after Harrison Reed has his pocket picked by substitute Corey Smith. And Downs now goes forward to Grimes. Grimes under pressure, rolls the ball to Manning. Now square to Downs again. Visitors just not able to penetrate this Fulham half at all so far. Really has been a problem for the 34 minutes we have seen in this game so far. But now it's ball over the top here from Paterson, and there is a bit of space for Bidwell. He lifts a cross in, which is aimed at Laird at the back post. Laird colliding there with Joe Bryan, but it is the Fulham left back that still gets his head to it, puts it out for a throw to Swansea City down the right-hand side. And it is with Ethan Laird. Laird going back towards Cabango. He plays it back to Norton. Square now to Flynn Downs. And he prefers to go all the way back towards goalkeeper Ben Hamer, as the visitors once again trying to start from the back. It's been a problem throughout this evening for Swansea City. They just haven't been able to get any kind of attacking possession. And Fulham, to their credit, they've they've made it as difficult as possible for Swansea to play out from the back. And they've also punished mistakes. A couple of times we've seen loose balls. Of course, that last goal for Fulham came after a loose ball in midfield. But now there is some space here for Ethan Laird down the right-hand side. It was Corey Smith that got the ball through to him. And then it's played back towards the edge of the area here for Pirot. The ball played across the 6-yard box. And the Fulham defenders now looking in frustration there, expecting an offside. The offside flag never came. But we can see real frustration here from Corey Smith. He's disappointed that none of his teammates got on the end of this. And I've got to say, he has a point. I mean, it's a great ball played right across the 6-yard box here from the substitute. And there's nobody even within shot of that. The replay I've just seen sees 3 Fulham players trying to get on the end of that cross to clear it. And there's not a Swansea player anywhere in sight. So nobody taking the gamble there inside the 6-yard box. And Smith, quite right, looking a little bit annoyed that his teammates weren't able to do anything with that cross of his. Now with Dennis Adoy on the right-hand side, under pressure from Paterson. Jean-Michel Seri now helps out his teammate, goes back to Tim Ream. And there is pressing here from Swansea, but they are sitting back a little bit deeper. It's like they're present inside the Fulham half without necessarily getting as close to the Fulham penalty area as Fulham do when it's Swansea who are on the ball. But now given away there by Cabano, throw on to Swansea. And it's with Kyle Norton. Finds Manning. Manning's ball to Pirot. Good sliding challenge there from Harrison Reed. And now a ball hooked up in the air by Tim Ream. Headed forward by Manning. Cordova Reed now chests it down for Fulham, but his pass down the right-hand side will be too quick for Harry Wilson. Throw to Swansea now down the left-hand side. Coming up to 37 minutes gone here. Independent off-tube studio commentary. Fulham leading Swansea by 2-0. Both goals scored by Mitrovic. First couple of goals, not many goals so far in the Champions League. Of course, it is only the 24th minute in those games. Bayern leading against Dynamo Kiev by 1-0. No surprise that it's Lewandowski with the goal from the penalty spot. Benfica's goal scored by Nunes as they lead against Barcelona by 1-0. And the other 4 games are goalless so far. Juve, Chelsea, Man U, Villarreal, Salzburg, Lille, and Wolfsburg, Sevilla. Swansea City were briefly on the attack before Pirot was dispossessed at the edge of the area. Manning then slides in and wins the ball back, and then it's Paterson who plays the ball in to Corey Smith, who heads it back towards the edge of the area. There was a chance to still recycle that ball in midfield, but now it's Cabano who gets in the way of Harry Wilson. 2 Fulham players so keen to start that counter-attack they couldn't decide which one of them should take the ball, and in the end they ran into each other. With Downs, he plays it into Pirot. That's a great ball from Pirot to thread it through to Paterson. Paterson one-on-one. He gets away from Gazzaniga and he tucks it into the back of the net. That is a very composed finish from Jamie Paterson, and Swansea City are on the board. It's the first time they've had a really good chance with a through ball played through the middle, and you have to credit Jamie Paterson because there were Fulham players all around him. Gazzaniga was diving at his feet, but he just kept his composure. And we'll see from the replay, it looked like he was always onside, no doubt at all here. Lovely little turn from, I think that was from Pirot to find his teammate. But when Paterson gets into the box, you have to say that Dennis Adoy sliding in actually disrupts his own goalkeeper there, which made it just that little bit more difficult for Gazzaniga to try and stop any kind of shot there from Paterson. Paterson could see that Adoy and Gazzaniga were basically falling at his feet, so he just dropped the ball onto his right foot and tucked it in with a curling finish. A really good strike there from Paterson. A really well finished goal, and Swansea City are on the board now with around 6.5 minutes to play in this first half. Be frustration for Marco Silva, but then, as I mentioned, both of these sides struggling to get into form in the last month or so. If you look at the 10 games that Fulham and Swansea have played between them, recently, there's only 1 win for each of them in those last 5 games that they've played. This is the second goal for Jamie Paterson in his last 3 championship appearances. Vital that he got that goal just to make things a bit more competitive in this match, and perhaps that goal will just breathe a bit more confidence into Swansea, and perhaps also add a bit more doubt to Fulham's play. That's certainly going to be something that the visitors are going to be hoping for. Ben Heyman now with the ball. Now looking to play it forward. It's with Manning. Manning Manning then finds, tries to play a long ball forward, looking for a Pirot. That one is picked off here by Tosin Adebayo, and now it's with Joe Bryan down the left-hand side. Finding space here for Skins Cabano. Ball played back towards the edge of the area. Adebayo now steps forward. Jean-Michel Seri. Side to Mitrovic, back to Seri. Square here to Tim Ream. What about playing it long, but again, Swansea are now just got that little bit more confidence about them. They're now pressing higher up the field, and it's Fulham forced to just played long balls to see if they can get rid of them from their own half. As Wilson doing his best to try and get that ball off Ryan Manning, but Manning did really well just to keep possession, and now it's with Matt Grimes. Grimes' ball forward is just a little bit too short there for Pirot, and then Adebayo could have been tripped there, but the referee allows play to go on. Well, I thought there might have been an advantage played there by Joshua Smith, but he's obviously happy that Swansea won the ball back cleanly. And the visitors are now in possession here with Kyle Norton back towards Cabango. Manning now looks up, plays that ball into Grimes. Pirot out towards the left-hand side for a Bidwell. Just a bit more of a spring in the step now for Swansea City. But once again, that ball played back towards the right-hand side. Fulham still trying to press here at the edge of their own box, but Swansea comfortably moving this ball around. It's now played over towards the right-hand side again, but it's behind, well, it's a long way behind Laird, and it's no chance at all there for Cabango stepping forward. So Paterson, the goal scorer, shaking his head a little bit there. He'll be disappointed at the way that one was given away. Throw on to Fulham now on their left-hand side. Ball with Joe Bryan. Waiting now to see where his teammates are. You can see now Fulham perhaps with that goal for Swansea just not in so much of a rush to restart play now. And it's gone all the way back towards Tosin Adebayo. Adebayo now looking forward, trying to get... Wilson now spots the run of Mitrovic. Oh, Mitrovic still fighting for it there, but that's good play from Ben Cabango in the end, just making sure that that ball does get through towards Ben Hamer. It wasn't that far away from finding Mitrovic. Now it's played back to the Swansea City goalkeeper again. And over towards Ryan Manning. We've seen a lot of the ball down this left-hand side. Do like the fact that Swansea play with three at the back, but they do send certainly Manning on the left. Maybe not so much Cabango on the right, but now, especially now that Corey Smith's come on the field to sort of be alongside Laird on that right-hand side. But certainly on the left, Manning is pretty much playing as a midfielder, and Bidwell's almost playing as an attacker at times, as Swansea City just starting to stack up the possession now. 56% possession in the first half here for the Swans. That said, they are still trailing 2-1 here with a couple of minutes to go. And the ball now back with Joe Bryan. Plays it up towards the halfway line. Then way back towards Cabango. Cabango does well to get away from Mitrovic. Finds Corey Smith. He's got Laird ahead of him, but he prefers to go back towards the halfway line here. Cabango now to Downs. Grimes has dropped a bit deeper this time as well. Finds a good ball down the left here for Ryan Manning, who was shoved off the ball there by Harry Wilson. I don't think there can be any doubt about that. Wilson still trying to defend himself like he'd done nothing wrong there, but he knows he definitely tripped Manning. And free kick now to Swansea, taken short. Grimes leaves it here for Downs. And Downs again had options to go out towards the right-hand side, but Swansea perhaps, because they have given the ball away a couple of times, and it was a giveaway of possession that gave Fulham their second goal, so perhaps they are just trying to be that a little bit more composed now and prefer to keep possession. But this is good combination play down the right-hand side between Laird and Smith. Just needed that final pass to Paterson to be that little bit more precise. Fulham now are able to win it back, and Tim Ream, under a bit of pressure, plays it through to Harrison Reed. Reed back towards Gazaniga. After a quick deflection, the ball gets through towards Jean-Michel Seri. We're into the last 30 seconds of regulation play here in the first half, as Dennis Adoy joins the attack for Fulham. Down the right-hand side, plays the ball into Mitrovic! What a finish that is! And out of absolutely nothing, it has to be said, Swansea dominating in the last 5 or 7 minutes. But Fulham have restored their 2-goal lead. And it's a hat-trick for Alex Mitrovic in this first half. What a performance here from the Fulham number 9. And it's a really good finish as well. Dennis Adoy, we've not seen him get forward too many times down the right-hand side for Fulham this evening. And the Belgian does have a very good cross on him. See Fulham playing out from the back. Tim Ream's ball actually got a slight deflection before it got through to Jean-Michel Seri. And then it's with Wilson. Quick ball from Decordova-Reid. And the space that Dennis Adoy has here down the right-hand side. He can pick any kind of cross that he likes. Plays a bouncing ball towards the round about the penalty spot. Mitrovic is there. And he tucks it into the back of the net for a first half hat-trick. And Ben Hamer didn't even move for that one. It's a really good finish from Mitrovic. And Fulham now with a 3-1 lead. It's a very exciting first half here at Craven Cottage. Alexander Mitrovic has his second hat-trick as a Fulham player. And his side now with a 3-1 lead. We'll see just how much time. We just had it confirmed there were going to be 2 minutes of injury time. We're into the first minute of that injury time now. Fulham leading by 3-1. Slowly the half times are being confirmed though in the Championship. Derby leading against Reading by 1-0. Peterborough 0, Bournemouth 0 is a half-time score. And the other games are all slowly getting into injury time now. Luton leading against Coventry by 3-0. Millwall Bristol City is still goalless. Barnsley Nottingham Forest seems to have started about a minute or so behind us. There's going to be a bit of a break in play here now. A collision here around about the halfway line. And we'll wait to see just how serious this collision was. Referee Joshua Smith asking the physio to come on here. As a couple of the Fulham players unhappy with this challenge. The referee just seems to be more concerned about the injured player rather than doing anything else in terms of a punishment for the actual collision itself. So we'll have to wait and see whether or not the referee felt as though, whether or not the referee was correct in thinking there was no challenge there that deserved a card. Still waiting to see whether or not play can resume. Mitrovic now on our screens in a very good first half from Alexander Mitrovic. Hasn't seen too much of the ball, but when he's got it, he's tucked it into the back of the net. That's as simple as that. Joe Bryan it was who needed a moment just to pick himself up. Still being checked over here, Bryan. And we've got about 30 seconds by my reckoning of injury time still to play here in this first half. Bryan going down. The clock's ticked past the 2 minutes we were supposed to have, but it's just a question of whether the referee Joshua Smith wants to add a few more seconds here for this injury to Bryan. Slowly now walking off the field. And we'll wait to see whether or not he is going to be able to play on. But it's been a very good first half here for Marco Silva's side. And they would have been very pleased to have gotten that third goal, because Swansea was certainly in the ascendancy, having got their goal on 38 minutes through Paterson. But now Swansea making a bit of a mess of it down the left-hand side. Manning and Bidwell getting in each other's way. And so this is going to be a throw on to Fulham now down the right-hand side. We should have half-time, but I'm not really sure where the referee's getting all this additional injury time from. But Dennis Adoy now with the throw for Fulham down the right-hand side. And that is it for this first half at Craven Cottage. A first half which has seen Alexander Mitrovic get a hat-trick for Fulham as they lead Swansea by 3-1. It was Jamie Paterson that got the goal for Swansea. And I'm back in 15 minutes.